I knew something was wrong the moment the room fell silent. My daughter, Zariah, had just finished playing her song, her small hand still hovering over the piano keys, trembling. The final note lingered for a second, then disappeared. But the applause never came. No clapping. No nods. Just silence. Then I heard it. A woman behind me whispered, just loud enough to pierce the quiet. "That's the poor girl. The one with the single mom." My chest tightened. My ears rang. I couldn't even turn around. I sat there frozen, fingers gripping the edge of the seat like it was the only thing keeping me from unraveling. Zariah's 9. Last night, she poured her soul into a song she wrote herself and performed it at her school's annual talent show. She spent weeks working on it, staying up after homework, headphones in, tapping out melodies on a second-hand keyboard we bought at a yard sale. That keyboard was missing a stand, the B-flat key stuck, but it lit up when she played it. To her, it was magic. She believed in her music. She believed they would hear it and feel something. But they didn't. When she finished playing, nothing. Not even a few pity claps. I watched her bow, just like we practiced, then look up, eyes scanning the crowd, searching for a sign. Any sign. Her eyes met mine, and for a second I saw it. That split second before heartbreak. The kind of pain a child shouldn't have to learn how to hide. I was trying not to cry, thinking I'd have to stand up, walk down the aisle, take her hand, and get us out of there like we were escaping a fire. Then something happened. A man stood up from the very back row. Alone. Tall. Older. Dressed in a quiet gray suit. He didn't smile, didn't speak. He just started walking toward the stage. The room shifted. Whispers rose. The judges glanced at one another, confused. I held my breath. There was something about the way he moved, deliberate, calm, that made me stop thinking about leaving. I don't know why, but I knew this wasn't the end of our story. It was the beginning. My name is Maya Reeve. I'm 33, and I've been raising Zariah on my own since she was 2. We live in a small southern Indiana town, the kind where people wave in passing but still keep score, what you drive, how your kid dresses, whether you're still single. I work 2 jobs, janitor at the middle school by day, waitress at a 24-hour diner by night. It's not glamorous, but it's honest. It pays the bills. More importantly, it lets me take care of Zariah. Zariah is everything to me. She's soft-spoken, all heart. She doesn't follow trends or care about popularity. She writes songs about things she feels deep down. "This one sounds like rain," she once told me, or "this is what missing someone feels like." She's always been that way. She was so proud to sign up for the talent show. "I want them to hear what I wrote," she said. Not my performance, or my song, just what I wrote. She practiced every day. I'd be cooking dinner, and I'd stop stirring just to listen. Her music didn't just fill a room, it meant something. But I also knew how much courage it would take. She's the only kid in her class who brings lunch in a grocery store bag. Her shoes are clean but last season. And when she walked onto that stage, I knew it wasn't just about the music. It was about being seen for real. She wore her best dress, the one from last Easter. I stitched the hem by hand. She asked me to braid her hair. Nice, but not like I'm trying too hard. She smiled at herself in the mirror before we left. The auditorium was packed. Glittery costumes. Sequins. Private lesson talk in every corner. I sat alone in the middle row, trying not to look like I didn't belong. When they called her name, I leaned forward. She walked to the piano slowly, adjusted the mic, and began to play. Her melody started soft, slow, like a secret being told. It wasn't flashy or loud. It was a lullaby laced with something deeper, grief, maybe, or hope. It was beautiful, but the room didn't hear it. Not really. A few parents whispered. Kids in the front row giggled. One of the judges glanced down and started typing on his phone. The woman beside me unwrapped a piece of gum like she was bored in an elevator. They didn't see her. They didn't hear what she wrote. But I did. And when that man in the gray suit stood up and began walking toward the stage, I felt something shift. Like maybe, just maybe, someone else had heard it too. And then I heard it, clear as a bell. She's the poor girl. The one with the single mom. The words didn't hit my ears. They hit my spine. I turned slightly to see who said it, but I didn't need to. I already knew the type. The kind of person who's never had to explain to their child why Santa only brought one gift. Who's never had to choose between fixing the car and paying for a field trip. I bit the inside of my cheek hard enough to taste blood. I wanted to stand, to shout. She is more than your story about us. But my body wouldn't cooperate. I was locked in place, pulse pounding, hands numb. Zariah kept playing. Her fingers never faltered. She poured herself into every note, like it mattered. Like someone, somewhere would understand. But they didn't. Not that night. She ended with a soft, haunting chord. It hung in the air, unresolved, like a question no one answered. Then silence. She bowed just like we practiced. Graceful, poised, hopeful. Her head rose slowly, scanning the audience. No applause, not even a polite clap. Someone coughed. A chair creaked. One of the judges flipped a page in his folder with a bored flick. And that was it. Zariah stood for a moment too long, just long enough for me to see her smile falter. It faded from something sweet and shy to something guarded and tight. Her eyes dropped. She walked off stage slowly, clutching her music folder to her chest like a shield. Even from across the room, I could feel her trying to hold it together. My heart cracked open. I wanted to run to her, scoop her up, shield her from every eye in that room. To whisper in her ear, they're wrong. You matter. Your music matters. But I couldn't move. I just sat there, blinking back tears I didn't dare let fall, because I knew if I started, I might never stop. Around me, the crowd buzzed on. Moms with manicured nails and designer handbags, dads filming with their phones but barely watching. The judges prepared for the next act, like nothing had happened. Then, something shifted. From the very back of the room, a man stood. He didn't look like the rest. His suit was simple, his hands tucked calmly behind his back. No phone. No whispering. Just stillness. And then he started walking. Slowly, deliberately, down the aisle. Heads turned. Someone whispered, "Who is that?" Even the judges looked unsure. The next act was supposed to be a group dance routine. No one was supposed to speak. I sat straighter, hand instinctively rising to my chest. I didn't know who he was or what he was doing, but something in me said, he's here for her. No one stopped him. With every step, the room quieted. One judge half rose, then sat back down. Kids peeked out from backstage. Everyone watched. Zariah stood off to the side of the stage in the shadows. She wasn't crying, but her posture said everything. Shoulders curled inward, jaw tight, eyes fixed on the floor. The man reached the front and turned to the judges. "Excuse me," he said. "Calm. Clear. Would it be all right if I borrowed the microphone for a moment?" That was it. No dramatic flair. Just quiet certainty. A young judge in a maroon blazer gave a faint nod. A student volunteer handed him the mic. The man stepped onto center stage, turned to the audience, and lifted the microphone. "My name is Dr. Elias Monroe," he said. "I wasn't supposed to be here tonight. My flight home was canceled, so I came to watch my granddaughter perform. But then I heard something that stopped me cold." The room leaned in. "I've spent my life teaching piano at Juilliard. I've trained concert pianists, film composers, symphony soloists. And in all those years, very few pieces have touched me the way that little girl's music did just now." The air changed. Silence became reverence. He turned toward the side of the stage, eyes soft. "Zariah," he said gently, "did you write that piece yourself?" She nodded slowly, unsure whether to smile or hide. He turned back to the crowd. "That was an original composition. That was a voice. That was art." Gasps. A few murmurs. Someone behind me whispered, "Juilliard," like it was a name they'd only heard in movies. Dr. Monroe continued, "I'd like to make a request. Zariah, would you be willing to play your piece again? And if so, may I accompany you?" My breath caught. Zariah looked at me, eyes searching. I gave the smallest nod I could manage without breaking into tears. She stepped back on stage, careful, quiet. Dr. Monroe waited. She sat. Then he sat beside her, just sharing the bench, not overtaking it. His hands hovered above the keys, waiting for her to lead. She began to play. This time, it didn't sound small. With his gentle chords beneath hers, the melody grew. It soared. Her song, once fragile and tentative, found wings. He didn't overshadow her, he supported her, matched her, and for the first time that night, the room listened. Really listened. He followed her. He supported her. He lifted her music like a second set of wings. And the room shifted. The quiet laughter stopped. Parents leaned forward. Judges lowered their pens. No one looked away. As the last note echoed and faded, a perfect silence fell. Then, like a wave breaking, the auditorium erupted. Applause, cheers, whistles. People stood, clapping like she'd just won a national competition. Phones came out. A judge wiped her eyes. I stood too, clapping so hard my hands ached. Zariah turned to Dr. Monroe and gave him a small, sincere smile that made my chest ache. In that moment, she wasn't the poor girl. She was a musician. She had been seen. And I knew, without a doubt, everything had changed. When the applause finally ebbed, Zariah stayed seated at the piano, hands resting in her lap, eyes wide, not with fear but wonder. Dr. Monroe leaned toward her and whispered something. She nodded, then rose slowly and bowed, not timid this time but proud. Confident. The room gave her the recognition it had withheld before. As they walked off stage together, people whispered, asking who she was. Parents who never glanced at us during school pickup strained to see her. Kids stared, whispering. A judge even followed her backstage, smiling like they'd discovered something rare and precious. I stood in the crowd, heart pounding, eyes wet. I didn't care what anyone thought. All I could see was my daughter, truly seen, for her talent, not her circumstances. She ran straight into my arms. I did it, she whispered. I couldn't answer. I just held her close. Dr. Monroe approached, smiling. He extended a hand, but before I could take it, he said, "Your daughter has an extraordinary gift. That wasn't just talent, that was truth. Thank you for letting the world hear it." "It wasn't mine to give," I said. "She made that moment. I just made sure no one missed it." He nodded, reached into his coat, and handed me a card. His name was embossed beside a New York address. "If you're open to it," he said, "I'd like to connect her with a youth arts foundation. They offer mentorship, private sessions. She won't need to audition. I've already heard everything I need." I stared at the card, stunned. "She's never taken a formal lesson. We can't really afford." "That won't be a problem," he said. "This is about access. She deserves to be nurtured, not just noticed." Zariah looked up at me, unsure, searching my face for permission. I nodded, swallowing tears. "Say thank you, baby." "Thank you," she said, steady and soft. Dr. Monroe tipped his head and returned to the crowd. That night at home, Zariah didn't take off her dress. She sat on the living room floor with her keyboard, humming something new. We ate cereal on a blanket, picnic style, under the ceiling fan. She played a few notes, then looked up. "Do you think I can really go?" "To the place the music man said." I reached over, tucked a curl behind her ear, and smiled. "You already did? It's been 5 months since that night. We're still in the same small house. I still work both my jobs. Zariah still wears secondhand shoes sometimes. But something's different. Not because of money or things, but because my daughter sees herself differently now. Every Saturday, we wake up before sunrise and drive an hour to the conservatory. She talks about dynamics, emotion, musical layering. Her teachers say her compositions have a depth rare even in students twice her age. She still plays the piece no one clapped for. But now, she plays it with confidence. It's not louder, just fuller, like she owns every note. And she does. Something changed in me, too. 4 years, I thought the best I could do was protect her, keep her quiet, shield her from judgment. But I was wrong. What she needed wasn't protection. It was permission, to be heard, to take up space, to believe her voice mattered. I almost let her walk off that stage believing silence meant she wasn't enough. But one man chose to listen and acted. Not to save her, but to amplify her. Sometimes that's all it takes. One person, one moment, one yes. That night didn't magically change our lives. But it gave Zariah something no gift ever could, the belief that she is worthy of being seen. It gave me something, too, a reminder that silence doesn't mean stop. It just means keep going. Because someday, someone will hear you. And that might change everything. I know now, she's not playing to impress anyone. She's playing to tell the truth. And that kind of music, that's what the world needs more of. If this story moved you, if it made you pause, reflect, or remember a time you felt invisible or finally seen, then share it. Send it to someone who needs a reminder that quiet voices do matter. And I'd love to hear from you. Tell me your story in the comments. Tell me about the person who stood up for you or the moment you finally found your voice. I read every one. If stories like this speak to your heart, if you want more moments that make you feel deeply and think differently, subscribe to the channel. There's more to come. Thank you for watching. Thank you for feeling. And most of all, thank you for listening.